Mhm.
Peace, 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 family. It's been a while since I've been live. I come to talk to the family today. I want to discuss suicide, the suicide rates amongst Black youth. There's a lot of things in our community that we refuse to talk about, and what I told myself the last 2 weeks or so that I was just going to build my brand. I was going to begin to build my brand talking about molestation in the Black community, talking about suicide rates, talking about Black marriages, all the things that actually go on in our life. I want to actually, I don't really want to get into history from 15,000 years ago and all that kind of stuff. I want to build my brand off of things that's affecting. Where your mother at? All right. I want to actually build my brand off of stuff that we can actually learn from, that we can actually have real live stream and real panels where we can begin to build and possibly have conventions and things like that where we can begin to heal our community. I feel like suicide amongst black children is real, and it's something that's not being talked about. You know, I talk about PTSD, and when we're dealing with PTSD and molestation, suicide is something that's right behind that, and it's something that we're not talking about. You know, they're saying now that we have rates that's with children from 5 to 13 is twice as high amongst white children. I'm gonna get into some statistics today where you can see the statistics. I'm gonna get into some stories where we can play some stories back. And the funny thing is, when you have these type of live streams, you know, you're not going to have a lot of people watching because our people, you know, so I got to really work with the people that really care. Like, you know, they say, you know, we got to try to help the whole community, but you can't help the whole community. Some people, you just got to leave them where they at. Like, you got to leave them in the gutter because there is no fixing them. They kind of like Scar from the Lion King. You can't fix them. They don't want to be fixed. They're not going to let you fix them. So hold on a second. Yeah. So we're gonna get off into I'm gonna share the screen and we're gonna get off into the story now where I can actually where we can actually I can give you guys visualization for what it is that I'm talking about. And you can see the crap that's going on within our communities that we refuse to deal with. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw me on O'Shea's channel when I was talking about the molestation in the black community and shaming molestation victims, and how we're quick to shame molestation victims, but we don't want to really do the work of dealing with the molested kids and the molested people in our community. We don't want to do that work. We're not willing to do that work. We don't even care to really have the conversation. So you can go across Black YouTube today, and it's just the regular shit, just regular bullshit. Nobody's going to talk about real pertinent issues that's going on in our community. So this first article is saying, why are black children killing themselves? As research continues to show a racial disparity in suicide amongst kids, experts are grappling with the reasons why. Now, this here is a black mother in the room of her 11-year-old child who committed suicide. Natalia Chambers looks at the bunk bed where her 11-year-old son Ryan hanged himself in Washington D.C. And it goes on to say, an honor roll student, a budding athlete. Those who knew him described Ryan as a model sixth grader and a happy kid with two loving, if occasionally troubled parents fighting through poverty, past incarceration, and homelessness. Friends and family remember Stormaya Denson Jackson as a beacon of light, a typical teenage girl. So this is another person, a typical teenage girl who loved dancing and was a bit of a shutterbug. Yet her a captivating smile, they say, belied the pain she felt from bullying from other kids at her residential charter school. Ryan 11 and Stormaya 12 lived in different parts of DC and likely did not know each other, but their deaths unite them. Ryan died of suicide in November 2017, and Stormaya repeatedly did the same thing this past January. Though shockingly, though shockingly young for such tragedy, the two also illustrate alarming statistical trends. More elementary age African American children have been taking their own lives, and black boys and girls between the ages of 5 or 12 are doing so at roughly twice the rate of white kids the same age. Now, this is important. I'm going to read that part again. More elementary age African American children have been taking their own lives, and black boys and girls between the ages of 5 and 12 are doing so at roughly twice the rate of white kids the same age. Suicide rates in the United States have traditionally been higher amongst white than black individuals across all age groups. A study published this month in the journal JAMA Pediatrics states, however, analysis revealed that the suicide rate amongst those younger than 13 are approximately 2 times higher for black children compared with white children, and findings observed in boys and girls. While the higher rate amongst Black children have been uncovered in recent years, researchers and mental health experts caution it's unusual for children so young to kill themselves. And suicide amongst those so young account for only a fraction of the total that includes teenagers and adults each year. Moreover, experts say multiple factors are usually involved when a person decides to take their own life, including issues like bipolar disorder, profound social isolation, or a deep sense of loss. Often present too is easy access to a means of death, such as a gun or potent drugs. So let's read on before we get to some of the videos. Still, the data is clear, even if the reasons behind the trends are not. We should say we don't know why yet, says Lisa Horowitz, the National Institute of Health staff scientist and pediatric psychiatrist who co-authored JAMA Pediatric Studies, which is based off of 2001 to 2015. We don't have the data yet, but we're looking at it and where the future studies are headed. So before I read on, like I said, I cover a lot of these issues when we're talking about PTSD. What's going on, Tony Smith, Empress B, Charze? I cover a lot of this stuff. We talk about the PTSD and I give my stories, but we don't realize that as adults, when we're talking about our trauma, the trauma that our children go through. Some of these videos I'm going to show you guys, man, it's going to break your heart. It's going to break your heart because these things happen, but we just sweep it under the rug. The same way we sweep molestation under the rug, the same way we sweep we sweep so many things, so much of our pain, we just sweep it under the rug and we refuse to deal with it. But it comes out, man, and when it comes out ugly. Those, let's see, those who study the nexus of race and mental health say the sharp difference in the suicide rate of black and white youngsters, while disturbing, also falls in line with the litany of desperate health outcomes between African American and whites, from higher diabetes and obesity rates amongst African Americans to all around earlier deaths. They're tied to the social factor like poverty, nutrition, violence, and racism. This age group is showing this disparity, and they're so young. That's the alarming piece, says Angela Barnett, a Kent State University psychology professor and director of the program for research of anxiety disorders amongst African Americans. But the trend has been emerging for a while. No, it does not surprise me. Dr. William Lawson, a psychiatrist and professor at the University of Texas Austin Dale Medical School, says the suicide study conclusion are to be expected given the socioeconomic problems in the Black community. It's access to care and all the usual factors that lead to poor health outcomes of African Americans. Lawson says those include, he says, limited resources, increased risk of homelessness, unprepared young mothers, risk of violence, all the factors that are known to be important to our community and are now impacting young people. But the cultural factors, including American stigmatization of mental illness in general, and African Americans' reluctance to acknowledge the mental health as part of wellness in particular, as part of the equation, Lawson said. Well, a lot of us, you always hear us say, a lot of us, we don't like to deal with, like I said, our pain. This here is the obituary of young Ryan that actually hung himself. When I was in medical school, I was told Black people didn't get the press, and Black people don't commit suicide. Now, a lot of us heard that. We always saw suicide amongst Black people. That's weak. Black people don't commit suicide. We always, we always said these things. Said Lawson, a middle-aged African American. I was raised in a rural community, primarily Black. I knew there were suicides in our community, but they weren't reported as such, and we were considered signs of weakness, not illness. How many people when people start talking about suicide, they say it's weak, that you're weak. Yeah, I mean, it's not a mental health issue. It's not that you're suffering from PTSD. Broadly speaking, suicide is considered by many to be a national epidemic, regardless ranking amongst the top 10 causes of death in the United States. A tally of economic cost of billions of dollars each year. According to the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, there are 123 suicides per day on average. God damn. White men, of course, well, now they give you this. White men accounted for 7 in 10 suicides in 2016, and the suicide rate was highest amongst middle age between those 45 and 54. While African Americans overall are far less likely to kill themselves than whites, and JAMA, a pediatric study showed that there were far more total suicides amongst white boys and girls 5 to 17 than among black children of their age. So we're double from 5 to 12. But when you go on from like 5 to 17 up into the higher ages, that's when the children are killing themselves. But this is still a problem with us because this is another part that we refuse to deal with. Like I said, suicide in the black community, homosexuality in the black community, molestation in the black community, PTSD in the black community. I don't care how many people come to watch me. See, because if I was talking shit about somebody, I have 150 people in the chat. I got 16 people right now because I'm talking about something that's relevant to our lives that if you notice Empress B and Tony Smith, not a lot of people going to come in here because I'm in their wheelhouse when I'm talking this way. And they don't want to deal with it. They want to go on YouTube and make videos about somebody and disparage black people. They want to talk shit. They want to do all the, they want to do they want to indulge in the fuckery on black YouTube. So now this is like kryptonite. So now when George is doing this shit, man, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Because George is gonna make me relive why I'm such an asshole. George is gonna make me look at myself in the mirror and have to deal with the fact that I'm an asshole to my own people. And we have to have these conversations because it's important, because it could be your child. My homie's son, man, was a boxer, aspiring boxer, man. And he was in the amateurs, man. He was good, man. Had knockouts. He was putting in work. Man, just one day out of the clear blue, nobody saw it coming, man. My homie's son hung himself in the closet and killed himself. I just took himself out. So for me, I got stories. But for me, this shit is real because I've seen it up close in hand. One of my friends, childhood friends I grew up, we called them Sticks. He was breaking up with his girl, and we was out on the block like the day before, and he was like, man, we broke up, man. I ain't worrying about that girl, man. I'm good. He was saying, I'm good, man. The hell with that B and all this, that, and the third. Man, the next day, he shot himself in the head. I had a cousin, one of my older cousins, he got paralyzed. He was in the wheelchair, and long story short, because I told this story before, he killed himself, he killed his wife and both his kids. So this suicide thing and this mental health thing in the black community is real. And a lot of people that may come across this video probably can relate because they probably have family members that's done this. Murder, suicides. Right. But see, suicide may not be an option for you, my brother, but it's an option for a lot of people. And see, this is the thing. We may say suicide is not an option, but a lot of us don't understand mental health issues. That's where I think the problem is. Stop for rage. We don't, as black people, really understand mental health issues because we never took the time to really want to deal with it. So when we say suicide is not an option, we're actually hurting ourselves in the community. Because we have to look at why so many of our people are committing suicide. So let me go down and read because I really want to show you guys. A girl was just killed in a school fight. Let's before I what's going on, BGS? So it says where was I said the research also notes that the past findings that the suicide rate for black children 5 to 11 has risen drastically since the early 1900s. It drops to half the rate of white peers when black children reach adolescence. The new studies show. So what they're saying is when we reach adolescence, it drops. But when they're in that children phase, these children are killing themselves. So we have to figure out what's going on. So we know that we was coming out of a crack era. A lot of these young moms are having babies when they're not ready to have babies. And a lot of these kids are being molested. A lot of these kids are being physically abused. There's a lot of things that's going on in the community that we're not discussing. We're not talking about. No single factor for the disparity emerged, as researchers lacked information on key factors that may underlie developmental racial differences in suicides. The report says such information included whether African-American victims had access to culturally acceptable behavior in healthcare. I can tell you younger children, regardless of race, have different characteristics with regards to suicide, and it doesn't always center on depression, says Horowitz. The study co-author said younger kids, she says, tend to be more impulsive than adolescents. Don't have the same concept of death. It might not have the ability to cope with the difficult but ultimately temporary hardships that drive them to suicide. That's why restricting access to lethal means like guns or dangerous prescription drugs is so important, Horowitz said. When you're in that state, that life is not worth living and that things are not going to get better, and you don't have the coping strategy, you can do things like this, get a gun or take pills. Still, the children who killed themselves do things like jump out of windows or hang themselves, she says. They can't tolerate what's going on with them in that moment, or anger or despair. Both Ryan and Stormyer, the Washington suicide victims, reportedly hanged themselves. Indeed, a previous study from Horowitz and others involved and more recent research found that compared with kids 12 and 14-year-olds, those 5 and 11 who died of suicide were more commonly male, black, and died hanging, strangulation, or suffocations. They were more likely to have experienced a relationship problem with a family member or a friend, but less likely to have had a problem with a boyfriend or girlfriend or leave suicide notes compared with older peers. All right, let me read some more before I go to the next. I'll stop here. And if they had been diagnosed with mental health problems, it was more likely to be attention deficit disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder than depression, the opposite of those 12 and 14, right? Because they try to say that younger kids can't be depressed. And see, I take this seriously because I've been through this. So I know that mental health is real. And when you have mental health issues, you're not thinking from a clear mind. You're not. See, when a person can say, well, man, a person to do this is weak, or that's not the option. They're not, you're not making that comment or saying that from a person with mental health issues. A person with mental health issues is operating on a different level. And this is the thing. Right. But see, this is the thing. You just answered your question, Stop for Rage. You got to be mentally ill. But if you don't understand mentally ill or have compassion for mentally ill, then you might be in the wrong space, brother. Because this is what we're dealing with. We got a lot of mental illness in the Black community. We have a lot of mental illness. You'd be surprised how people shower themselves with gifts and jump from bed to bed with different women, or bed to bed with different men, or act so aggressive because they're concealing inner pain. They got all kinds of inner issues and mental health problems that because it's undiagnosed, we don't know what mental health issues look like, my brother. We don't know what it looks like because we spent so much time avoiding it, not wanting to deal with it. And this is the thing. So sometimes brothers like sometimes, brother, no disrespect to you, but you need to sit and listen, because you may not understand, and I can tell that you don't understand from the comments. Sometimes it's good to just listen to your people. As Black folks, let's just listen to each other, because maybe you might learn something that maybe you may never looked at from that aspect. Because I used to think like you until I tried to commit suicide. I used to see bums on the street and say, damn, I'll never be that. But you don't know because you don't understand mental health issues. You think any bum you saw on the street when they was 12 said, hey, when I grow up, I want to be a bum. Life has a strange way of taking you through different trials and tribulations and different peaks and valleys, man, till you get to some but out of oppression comes mental health issues, the purple pill. There is no mental health issues without some type of form of oppression. So we have to really understand. And see, this is hard because I know that my people don't understand this shit. But we live in cities where there's murders all over the place, dead bodies in the street, crack all over the place, growing up without fathers. And y'all think that y'all don't have mental health issues? Look at the way we engage with each other. These are aspects of mental health issues. Look at the way we engage with women and women engage with the men, and the way we think, the way we operate. These are aspects of mental health issues in the Black community. I'm not saying that you're the problem. I'm saying that we got to learn how to listen to each other. Stop for rage. Right. The world don't revolve around the way you think. Everything is not about you. I had the worst upbringing. Right. A lot of us did. Pushing to the right. But see, this is the thing. The world don't revolve around the way you move and the way you think. If the world stopped for you, then you would be the king. No, we live in a world where we have in these communities, but we take these experiences and we react to them differently. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. So as Black people, when we're holding court and we teaching, we got to learn how to listen to each other. No, you ain't offend me at all. You ain't offend me. Listen, this is what I'm saying before I keep reading. You're not offending me at all, my brother, because I understand. I understand your comments. But what I'm saying to you is you have to understand that the world don't revolve around the way that you may see it. You got 10 brothers in a room and we all looking out the window at the same thing. We may all have a different interpretation of what we're looking at. That's all I'm saying. We may all have a different interpretation of what we're seeing. So when we have to learn to have compassion for each other and understanding that, okay, I came up through the same way and I made it through here, but this brother didn't. This sister didn't. That situation that I made it through affected this sister this way. Now she's walking around talking to herself. So we got to understand, and I'm not blaming you because in our community we frowned upon it, but we was conditioned to do that from our oppressors. So let's read on before I get to these kids. I'm gonna read this one last part. I'm gonna go to where y'all can actually see the children. In the Black community, he says, it's not that we don't seek help for our mental health issues. We don't seek professional help. Instead, relying on clergy, close friends, and family. And we don't stop there. He says, pointing out that preachers, and loved ones, though well-meaning, don't have the training of mental health professionals. But if you go to the professionals to seek help, you're defined as being crazy. That's where weak people go, he says. To reverse the trend of African American child suicides, we need to educate on the signs of symptoms of depression, suicide, and anxiety, Lindsay says. And that work must be done by teachers, pediatricians, coaches, clergy, caregivers, as well as parents. We need more school and mental health programs to help identify the early signs of stress that kids are struggling with that might be precursors to suicidal behavior, Lindsay says. Some people have suicidal behavior, my brother Rage. Instead of killing themselves, they kill other people. See, that's another aspect that we don't see. Some people may not kill themselves, but they go out and kill people. Some of these people in the hood are taking hits, murder for hire, and they kill people like it's nothing. They do home invasions. They raping women. Women are out on the corner selling their bodies. They no longer have no respect for their bodies or their well-being. They get in a car with a man 3 o'clock in the morning to give them head on the corner somewhere. That's a sign of sickness. They can be murdered at any time. So these are the things. What's going on, Truth, Danny? The socialization of African American boys need to change too, he adds. Masculinity is not defined by strength and being strong and not crying. Indeed, masculinity is defined as having a range of emotional expressions, and that boys feel comfortable in sharing their pain and asking for the support they need. Besides a clear sign that there needs to be parity between blacks and whites in healthcare, Hallwood said. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stop right here and I'm gonna go over here where you guys can see this. Let me pull this up. All right. So it says black kids are committing suicide because of bullying at school seems to be on the rise. Are schools doing enough to stop what could be a troubling trend? Though they haven't been a sharp increases in suicide rates for young black people, for young black people have been on the rise recently. According to statistics provided by African American Foundation for the Suicide Prevention, the fact is coinciding with the recently heightened awareness surrounding what could be a larger and more troubling trend amongst black kids killing themselves after being bullied in school. So this was a little kid. You can see this kid right here was a homosexual boy, right? He was 15 years old. Now, this is the thing. It says, let's see. Okay. The last part was true for Nigel Shelby, a 15-year-old high school freshman in Alabama who reportedly committed suicide Friday. Reports attributed his death to nonstop bullying at school because he was gay. A GoFundMe page started. The same page has already exceeded 10,000. Its 10,000 goal, but that was likely little solace for Shelby's family, dealing with death of their loved one for something that could have been prevented. Now, this is the thing. Purple Pill. If you say that again, I'm gonna block you out my page. I'm not dealing with ignorance. This is a 15-year-old boy, and you say he wasn't black, he was LGBT. First of all, you got to know what LGBT is, and you got to know what black is. And we got to talk. See, I'm not dealing with shaming young children. This boy is a child. How you know if he's been molested before? See, this is what I'm saying. This is not a 35-year-old man. I've made videos about molestation in the black community that's never been dealt with. Never been dealt with. We don't want to talk about it. A lot of these young boys and young girls is coming up through this community, coming up through our community, homosexual because they've been being molested. They're being molested. So there's a lot of things going on in our community. So what I'm saying is this is the problem. We don't have to support homosexuality. I don't support homosexuality, but I don't support ignorance either. See, this is the thing. If you want to have the balls as a man, as what I think you are, to bash black people and part of the LGBT community, when I'm going in on molestation in the black community, you better be right the fuck there with me. When I'm going in on PTSD in the black community, you better be right the fuck there with me, side by side with me. When we marching in these streets, going after these preachers and after these people that's molesting our young boys and young girls, you better be right the fuck there with me. Because if you ain't, then you should shut the fuck up about any person that's gay and black in the black community. Because y'all the motherfuckers that don't want to deal with the dysfunction in our community that's bringing about these behaviors. That's the fucking problem. This is the problem. So you just see a 15-year-old kid pop out and gay and you shame him, but you ain't shaming these goddamn molestation and pedophiles in the black community. It's a 15-year-old kid. It's not a 20-year-old kid. You probably one of the pedophiles. That's the problem. And this is the shit that I don't like. I don't support LGBT. I don't support homosexuality. But what I do support, what I am against is molestation in the black community, child abuse in the black community, undiagnosed PTSD in the black community, undiagnosed trauma in the black community. And out of that, all those different things that I'm naming, out of that comes this fuckery. They say 1 out of fucking 5 boys are molested before the age of fucking 16. And it's probably more of that because black boys don't come out and say nothing about it. They don't come out and tell. But I don't see no goddamn black men in the community going after these molestation victims and these helping molestation victims in the black community. I don't see no black men speaking about it. Thank you. We need it. Stop for rage. What I'm saying is, if we're going to criticize, we got to be willing to put the work in. And when I come across black YouTube, I don't see none of you motherfuckers on black YouTube talking about molestation in the black community. None of you motherfuckers. But you talk shit. I don't see none of you niggas on here talking about PTSD in the black community. But you run your fucking mouths on some weak shit. That's the shit that gets me mad. Let me move on, man. Bullying victims are between 2 and 9 times more likely to consider suicide than non-victims, according to studies by Yale University. The American Foundation of Suicide Prevention reported. On top of that, the CDC found that more than 14% of high school students have considered suicide, and almost 7% have attempted it. Those dismal statistics have unfortunately been increasingly proving themselves accurate recently. Earlier, now this little boy is in my city. Earlier this month, Philip Spurl Jr., an 11-year-old fifth grader from Philadelphia, killed himself after incessant bullying at his school because of his weight. Look at this shit. It's heartbreaking. Look at this, man. This is heartbreaking. Philip Spurl, little brother, was also bullied with homophobic slurs. The 11-year-old commits suicide after increasing bullying over his weight. So this was a little boy here that committed suicide. What was this, babe? Was this 2 weeks ago? Yeah, about 2 weeks or a week ago, he committed suicide. Because he was being bullied. This is a child. My youngest child is 11 years old. So what I'm saying is this: if we're going to criticize, I need to see your work. I need to see your work. Let me see what you're doing in the community to try to help fix these ills. If not, don't come on my page and criticize. Because he was overweight, children made fun of him. Spurl's grandmother, Linda Ladd Smith, said April 12th. He was very sensitive on the inside. Those comments really hurt him. He would try not to show the kids he was bothered, but he would come home to his mom and dad, to me, and cry. They were also making fun of his next youngest brother, who was 6. In 2 weeks, he'll be 7, calling him gay because he liked to dance and twirl around. They would make hurtful comments on the school bus in school, saying, "Here comes the fatty faggot." Wow. Ladd Smith said her family tried to stop the bullying, but the school did not do enough. So then we get to Kevin Reese Jr., a 10-year-old from Houston, hanged himself to death in January because he was bullied at school through taunting and physical abuse. The New York Daily News reported at the time. A 10-year-old girl in Colorado also killed herself. She was bullied at school in 2007. Yeah, I'm gonna actually get to this. Ashanti Davis. I'm gonna get over to her. Ashanti Davis, a promising 5th grader at Sunrise Elementary School, part of the Cherry Creek School District in Aurora, Ohio, reportedly hung herself in the closet at home after a video of a fight involving her was posted to an app. She had gotten into a fight, and she actually lost the fight, and they posted it. And the little girl, as you can see right here, she went and she hung herself. 2 parents are coping with the unimaginable loss of their 10-year-old daughter. Ashanti Davis committed suicide after being bullied. David's family, like most families, bullied children, say they didn't believe that the school was doing enough to stop bullies. Bullying was also blamed for the cause of an 8-year-old boy in Ohio who killed himself. The mother of Gabriel Taye says her son was viciously bullied at a Cincinnati elementary school before taking his own life. I don't think that y'all understand. Like, these are fucking babies. 8, 10, 8, 10, 11, 15. Like, these are children. And it's happening all through the community. Right. We need to, that's right. Then we need to get back what we used to have back in the day, where we had the boxing, the karate. They had the when you went out the different avenues and places that you can go to back in the day, man, for physical activities and stuff like that. But they don't have that no more. They cut all these things out. An overwhelmingly amount of kids who are bullied don't report it, according to educators. Most bullied children are not at higher risk of anxiety, depression, or other negative outcomes. Particularly, race-related bullying is significantly associated with negative emotional and physical effects, according to the published journal Health and Psychology. Philadelphia State Rep Malcolm Kenyatta said the chair of the Black Caucus, oh my God, they're not going to do shit. The chair of the Black Caucus in the State House has introduced legislation to establish anti-bullying in school curriculums. But like Danny said, anti-bullying school curriculums, you have to have activities for these children to get out, all of those different things. Kenyatta also said if someone is being bullied, get connected with the anti-bullying organization as soon as possible and reach out to the school district. What is your policy around bullying? So let's get to here. Let's go here. Matter of fact, no, let me go here first and then I'll go there. All right, this was the little girl. Bully, they call it bully side. What's going on, Kenneth? They call it bully side. 10-year-old girl suicide was result of bullying. Video parents say. So then we get down here. A 10-year-old girl died of her parents' suicide after a video of her fighting with an alleged bully outside her elementary school was posted online. Ashanti Davis, a 5th grader at Sunrise Elementary in Aurora, Colorado, hanged herself after a video was posted on social network app Musical, whatever that is, and she died Wednesday after spending 2 weeks on life support. So when we was growing up, Danny, they and Lawrence, Kenneth, we had bullying, but the bullying was wherever you were at that time, and the bullying wasn't spread out all on social media. So if you was being bullied, right there, and that was the end of it. And you fought the guy or the girl, whatever, and it was over with. Nowadays, when you're being bullied, it's all over the place, everywhere. It's online. It's on social media. It's through the phones. It's being passed around everywhere, and the shit never stops. So me being in my 40s, I can't conceptualize what being bullied is today with the advent of social media as it pertains to when it was 30 years ago when I was a kid growing up. This shit, like, look at this picture of this baby, man. So it says she got into her first ever fight. Oh man. Her father, Anthony Davis, told the network. Ashanti's mother, Latasha Harris, said that her daughter confronted the other girl who allegedly bullied her in the video, which was taken by another student and shows the two girls fighting while other children watched. Ashanti was devastated and the bullying increased. When the video appeared on the app, her parents told the network. The Cherry Creek School District said it turned the video over to police in a statement to Fox 31, noting that the fight did not take place during school hours, calling their daughters a victim of bullycide. Ashanti's parents said they want to make more parents aware of the causes where children take their own lives due to bullying. That was my baby, and I love my baby, and I just want mothers to listen, Harris said. Now watch this, right? Watch this, right? This was little Shanti, right? A couple days, about a week later, it says, did 8-year old New Jersey girl hang herself after seeing a Shanti Davis story? Did 8-year-old New Jersey girl hang herself after seeing the Shanti Davis story? Look at these fucking babies, man. Like it's getting hard for me to even keep going, man. God damn, man. Investigators are trying to figure out if if the news of the young girl committing suicide due to bullying prompted an 8-year-old girl identified as Imani McCray to do the same on Sunday. As reported by NBC4, McCray was put in timeout in her New Jersey home before she hung herself in a manner similar to that of Ashanti Davis of Colorado, sources said. McCray had seen reports of the 10-year-old's death on Facebook and may have tried to replicate that suicide. That's why you got to be very careful what you exposing your children to and what you allowing your children to see. You may discipline your child, man, and children, they're bad sometimes. They do stuff, and you may discipline your child, but then you go to bed or you go upstairs or you send a child up to their room, and you never know what that child saw at that time and what that child is exposed to. Like, you got to be real careful. We got to be real careful on what we allowing our children to be exposed to, man, and you got to talk to your children. Where you going? Hurry up. Stop. Don't eat no more of that piece. I'm going to throw that out. That been in there for 2 days. All right, get. It's only 2 days. As we okay, so are you in here trolling, man? No, they wasn't adopted by other races, man. There's no word on if she was bullied in school or accidentally hurt herself and pretending. When the paramedics arrives, McCray was faint. McCray had a faint pulse, but eventually died at the University Hospital Newark. She will have turned 9 years old next week. We just want parents to know that you got to be in your child's life. She's said identifying loved one outside McCray's apartment because this is reality now. We got to bury our baby. So this was let me see. Let me go here. Which one is this one? This is the one I had. All right. Okay, let me go. Let's go to this one here. This is another kid here. This is another 8-year-old. This is an 8-year-old, and all this stuff is within the confines of the report, right? That I'm showing you guys the report. See, because these one. Hey George, can you do one on the No Children Left Behind law? The law is hitting a lot of homes. Okay, yeah, I definitely for you, Lawrence, I definitely do one. You've been here with me since I started this thing, man. I definitely do one for you, my brother. Lawsuit blames schools for bullying 8-year-olds suicide. A teacher and filling in schools. Schools don't do a good job handling bullies. Absolutely. The parents of an 8-year-old boy who hanged himself blamed a treacherous school environment, allegedly in a federal lawsuit Monday that the school officials allowed and covered up bullying. The wrongful death suit filed by parents of Gabriel Taye names officials at his elementary school at the Cincinnati Public School District as defendants. It seeks damages to be determined at the trial. Attorneys have said his mother didn't know her son was bullied until the lawyers saw Cincinnati police detectives' email describing the scenes outside the boy's bathroom where attorneys say Gabriel was knocked unconscious. Oh my God. 8 fucking years old. He hanged himself at home 2 days later on January 26th. Attorney Jennifer Branch said Cornelia Reynolds' words were, "If I had only known," after Branch described the bathroom assault to the devastated mother. She said the parents also learned after his death that he and other children had been bullied before at Carson's elementary school. This is why you got to talk to your children. Let's see. Let's play this video. Let's see.
Surveillance video. Investigation of a suicide by an 8-year-old boy. It happened in January. Today, the Cincinnati School District released surveillance video showing what happened to the boy 2 days before he took his life. Here's Anna Warner.
The video shows 8-year-old Gabriel Taye entering the bathroom in the middle of an apparent scuffle with other students. He can be seen trying to shake the hand of a student, then either being pulled down or falling to the floor, where he lay motionless for 7.5 minutes, apparently unconscious, as other students can be seen stepping over him, poking, prodding, even kicking him with their feet. His mother took him to the hospital later that night after he began vomiting, but the family says the school did not communicate the serious nature of the incident. He was diagnosed with a stomach virus and sent home. 2 days later, it appears he hung himself with a necktie. Family attorney Jennifer Branch.
The district did not tell her that her son had been attacked in the bathroom, that other children were attacked in the bathroom. They didn't tell her that he was laid on the floor unconscious for over 7 minutes.
Cincinnati Public Schools officials told CBS News they did not know Taye was unconscious for 7 minutes. They said when the boy was asked what happened, he first told them he fell, later said he fainted, but at no point, they say, did he say he was assaulted. But Branch says a homicide detective sent an email to school officials expressing concern, saying after watching the video, he witnessed behavior that in my belief is bullying and could even be considered a criminal assault.
On Mother's Day, she will be remembering her only child, and she wants to know what happened to him so it doesn't happen to any other mom or parent or family.
Well, protesters are out here and cars are honking at them tonight. The school district says it was not aware of that videotape until days after the incident. But Anthony, officials did admit to me today that they have never interviewed students about exactly what happened in that bathroom.
Anna Warner reporting from.
So these are the things, and this is the thing. Like, you got to constantly talk to your child. My youngest son, man, he's always with me, and he's homeschooled. Like, I'm in his business. Like, I'm in his room. I'm going through stuff. I'm checking on shit. Like, I don't play that. Like, I talk to my son. You know, I ask him questions. I test him. I do all these different things because it's imperative that you do this with your children, man. Let's read on. Let me read on before we get to the next one. If CPS had been honest with her about what happened in the bathroom, how long he had been unconscious, and the dangerous school environment Gabe had to navigate each day of the 3rd grade, she would have never let him. She would have never let him return to Carson. Brent said in a statement. Parents with children will go to Carson. Parents with children who go to Carson are hoping that the lawsuit brings positive changes. Since the boy's death, the assistant principal has left Carson. The principal is being reassigned, and the superintendent has retired. Yeah, if this was taken care of at first, instead of putting zeros or sweeping it under the rug, then it wouldn't have gone so far. And now we have to watch our babies like crazy. Said, but you should have been watching your babies like crazy from the start. Yeah, it's sad to watch. And you know what though, Stop for Rage, it's sad to watch, but it's happening all the time in our communities. Our kids are dealing with so much stuff, man, and we're so busy working and dealing with grown-up shit that we don't see it. We don't see what our kids are going through. Rumor was my daughter was going to be jumped to school, and I was at the school the opening the next day. So it says, hold on, let me see. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on, let me go back up. It says, Prosecutors recently closed their investigation into Gabriel's death without charging anyone. The coroner last month stood by her original finding of suicide in a review after authorities opened Gabriel's grave in June to remove the electric tablet buried with him to see if it might provide additional information. His mother has said she buried the tablet with him to make sure he has something to play with in heaven. Damn. Oh, man. All right, hold on. Let me get myself together. I told you, this is tough for me to do. All right. The school district has said Gabriel told staff he fainted and never said he was bullied or assaulted. The district said Monday in a statement that it had no comment on the lawsuit other than to repeat its earlier statements in a tragic death. So yeah, the shit can be greatly reduced though. Firstly, by believing kids should be in uniform. I agree with that, Ali. I definitely agree with that. So this was one kid. I'm gonna get to let me go over to this other kid here. This story right here is crazy. This one is definitely crazy. Heartbreaking teen couple died by suicide days apart. And my mother had to take my younger brother out of public school into private school. And it was night and day. Yeah. But we gotta have these type of conversations. A tragic story. I actually did a video. This happened last year. I actually did a story on this young couple. Hold on, let me see. Okay, yeah. A tragic story about a teenage couple from Ohio dying by suicide days apart has gone viral on Facebook. Details surrounding the suicide are still being investigated, but according to online reports, 18-year-old Mercedes Shade Smith took her own life in her college dorm on Thursday, April 20th, and her boyfriend Marquise Maury Brown ended his life Saturday, April 22nd, after learning of his girlfriend's death. Sadie Smith was found unresponsive in her dorm room at Lindsey Wilson's College in Columbia, Kentucky, on April 20th. She was reportedly suffering from depression. A few days later, on Saturday, April 22nd, her boyfriend Marquise Brown also killed himself after leaving a devastated video and Facebook post. Smith, 18, was a communications freshman and was also on the track and field team at her school. This is pictures here of them. Her track and field coach remembered how Smith would light up the room with her personality. Mercedes was a good-spirited person and showed promise in her future, said Gordon. See, sometimes, man, you never see it coming. Sometimes you never see it coming. And people that commit suicide, there's no look to what suicide looks like. This the whole thing. Like, people see this young couple, this beautiful, beautiful young girl, handsome young man, and they take themselves out. But we think, yeah. And I actually covered this last year, but I wanted to redo it again because these numbers are going up. These numbers are going up, and nobody black is going to talk about it because we don't give a shit until it happens to your own children, your own child, and then you're saying, "Oh, whoa!" Then you're saying, "Woe was me." Her track and field coach remembered how Smith would light up the room, with her personality. Mercedes was a good-spirited person who showed promise in her future, said Gordon. She was a fun-loving person, and everyone enjoyed being around her. She will be truly missed. Look at them, man. Look at them. This is insane. Apparently, Smith's friends believe Brown contributed to his girlfriend's suicide as they harassed, bully. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Apparently, Smith's friends believed that Brown contributed to his girlfriend's suicide, and they harassed and bullied him online, which, along with the grief of losing his girlfriend, drove him to commit suicide just days later. Man. The entire situation is being heavily discussed on Facebook and sparked a serious discussion of suicide awareness and depression. Teen suicide is a growing health concern. It is the third leading cause of death for young people of ages 15 to 24, surpassed by only homicide and accidents. The risk of suicide frequently occurs in the combination of external circumstances that seem to overwhelm at-risk teens who are unable to cope with the challenges of adolescence because of predisposing vulnerabilities such as medical disorders. Examples of stresses and disciplinary problems, interpersonal losses, family violence, sexual orientation confusion, physical and sexual abuse, and being victims of bullying. Brown, 17, was consumed by grief following his girlfriend's death. Before taking his life, Marquise posted a depressing note on Facebook and went on Facebook Live, confirming that people thought he was the one to blame for Smith's death. In a tearful video, he confessed, y'all don't even know what I was going through. Y'all don't even know what she was going through. Y'all not finna find me, so don't even try to find me. I just want to be around love. I just want to be around love, y'all. According to Marquis' suicide note, Mercedes was pregnant with his baby oh my God. So this is his note where he's saying, I just lost my girlfriend and my kid. She thought everyone was going to bash her like her friends did. That baby brought us so much joy. She told me she was pregnant on my birthday. I was happy, but I also was lost for words. Mercedes asked countless people for help. That's why I tried to be the best boyfriend ever. Marquise also shared in his note that he previously talked to Mercedes about. Wait a minute. Marquise also shared in his note that he had previously talked Mercedes out ending her life, but if she chose to do so in the future, they discussed going out together. Man, the shit that these kids be going through, man. Let me see. I messed up once and took someone on a date, but that's all I did, and I apologize for that. But these were fucking kids. These were children. Like he messed around, and she was pregnant. He took somebody on a date, and look at them, man. I did whatever I did. Hold on a second. I did whatever I had to do to make it up to Mercedes. I had my passwords, fingerprints on my phone, a lot. I was very open with her, but we always told each other how we hated life and everything in it. But I always talked her out of it. Well, we would always say we was going to go out together. This is crazy, man. Like these were kids, man. They had a lot of issues, and I just want to know, like, where was the adult? Like, we're not around when these kids are going through this shit. Yeah, you're right. But see, this is the thing, though. I'm doing this live stream today because for some of you guys in the chat room watching me right now, right? You may be working every day, and you're providing the best life for your babies. You provide the best life for your babies, but you may not you may not you may not you may not have time for your children the way that you should. You may not be going through your daughter's drawer to see what's going on in there. You may not be going through your son's drawer or going through his phone to see who he's hanging with. Make sure that going through your their journals and stuff that they're writing. You got to be on this shit, man. You guys got to pay attention. You guys got to pay attention to your children. At the end of his post, he wrote that her family wouldn't allow him to go to the funeral, so he made the decision to find a way to. Oh my God, man! So he made the decision to find a way to see her himself. Damn. They won't let me. They won't let me come to the funeral, so I'm gonna go see her myself. Wow. Let's see here. I didn't even see that. I didn't even see this video at the bottom. To help the respective families cover the cost of burying Mercedes and Marquise, GoFundMe pages have been created. Suicide is a relatively rare event, and it is difficult to accurately predict which persons with these risk factors will ultimately commit suicide. However, there are some possible warning signs such as, let's see. I didn't even look at this video. Let me see what's on here.
Look, family, thank you for joining us as we continue our series on promoting wellness and preventing suicide in young Black children, particularly young Black children who are at risk for suicide. This is not an easy conversation to have, but we know as a community that it is very necessary. The rates of suicide among African American children have doubled in the last 2 decades, with rates increasingly alarming for Black boys between the ages of 5 and 11, according to a 2015 study. This was the first time a national study found a higher suicide rate for Blacks than white.
I'm gonna stop it right there because I already she basically reading what I was reading. But I'm gonna tell you guys something. You guys watching me right now, we need to have more forums like this. You guys need to request more live streams from the people that you support. Parents are more caught up in themselves, right, than being caught up in their children, trying to stay competitive with the Joneses, right? You're right, G Money Hollywood. Black children. Let's go down. Let's see. It says, what you doing, boy? Okay, so these are some of the things that you can check out for when you see the signs with children. But I'm gonna say this: a lot of people that you guys support on YouTube, you guys have to request the topics that they talk about. You guys, like, we have to request more shit. Recent loss through death, divorce, separation, broken relationships, self-confidence, self-esteem, loss of interest in friends, hobbies, activities, and previously enjoyed. Change in personality: sad, withdrawn, irritable, anxious, tired, indecisive, apathetic. Change in behavior: can't concentrate on schoolwork, routine tasks. Change in sleep patterns: insomnia, often with early waking or oversleeping nightmares. Change in eating habits: loss of appetite and weight, or overeating. Fear of losing control, acting irrationally, harming self and others. Low self-esteem, feeling worthiness, shame, overwhelming guilt, self-hatred. Everyone would be better off without me. That was me. And I'm gonna tell you something. This was me at the so-called height of my life, when I had cars, women, properties, homes, all kinds of jewelry. It's still, I still felt worthiness. I still felt shame. I felt guilt. I had self-hatred. When people saw me, they say, "Dad, you got everything, man. You got You got the red bones, the dark skin, the Puerto Rican chicks. You got all of them. You got the sports car. You got the Lexus coupe. You got the rims on them. You got all this stuff, right? But at the end of the day, I'm taking a bunch of pills, hiding under the bed, trying to kill myself. Now, why? Why? But see, at that time, I was going through a deep, deep depression too, and didn't understand what depression was, because in the Black community, we don't like to talk about these different things. And I was dealing with inner demons. And when that inner demons begin to speak to you and say, well, listen, I can make you feel better. Well, here I am. I take 20 pills and hide up under the bed. Because in my mind, I thought that I would make the girl that I was with at the time, I thought I can get back at her for hurting me by me doing this to myself inside the house, and she come home and find me. Right? But see, this is mental health issues. See, I can be transparent when I'm on YouTube, because maybe somebody may come across this video and say, damn, man, I was going through that too. I'm glad that this brother was transparent enough to speak this way and make me see myself. And maybe I can go get the help that I need. Maybe I can make the change. So it wasn't no amount of money. It wasn't no amount of women. It wasn't no amount of nothing that was going to stop me from doing that. And the only thing that saved me was the grace of the Most High that was in me, that said, George, I ain't through with you yet. You may have wanted to give up, but I'm not through with you yet. I'm going to send you back to the fire because you still got work to do. So I came back. A couple years later, I tried to do it again. Now I'm with my wife now, and she was pregnant with my 11-year-old son. I tried to do it again, but I was going through mental health issues from things not being over the sickness of my mother. I had been through on trial for a lot of things. I remember sitting in the prison cell, not knowing if I would be in there for the rest of my life. Just going through a lot of different changes, dealing with the demons of my past, the things that I've done that I'm not proud of, and just all kinds of different things. So mental health issues is real, and you got to go get the help for it. You got to make sure that your children is getting the help for it. I told you, September 6, 2006, my cousin was in the wheelchair, and he called my sister. And he asked my sister, if you kill yourself, will you go to hell? Now, he used to get big money, big money. He got shot by the police in Maryland. He got shot by the feds in Maryland and put in a wheelchair. He was confined to a wheelchair. And it's my cousin Michael. And this is my favorite cousin. He offed himself. He killed himself. He killed his wife. He killed little Michael, and he killed his daughter. And he left a note and said that he couldn't take it no more, and he was going to take his whole family with him because he didn't want them to be a burden. He didn't want to leave his children to be a burden on nobody else. And for a long time, I was so angry until I finally went and got the help that I needed to find out what mental health was all about. Because the average person is not getting up just doing these kind of things, or the average child is not. There's something. It has to be something traumatic in that child's life, or some traumatic events in that adult's life to push them in that direction to do these things. And a lot of times we don't take this shit seriously until it happens to somebody in your family. And with all the dysfunction that we got in the Black community, you don't see nobody talking about this kind of shit. You see people talking about Cardi B, people talking about what's the latest shit going on? Kodak Black and T.I. and needs to adopt the notion that we need to utilize mental health provider. We do. We need it bad. We are the only ethnic group that doesn't take advantage of that service. Yeah, I agree with you, G Money Hollywood, and we don't. And I'm trying to tell you, man. Listen, I took those pills. I remember taking them pills and then laying on the floor. And when I went out, I don't remember nothing else. I just remember waking up in the hospital like 3 days later, handcuffed to the bed. That's what I remember. Waking up in the hospital 3 days later, handcuffed to the bed. And I didn't realize how bad I hurt my father I mean, we talking about the man who raised me from the time I came out of my mother, who raised me alone. So when you're going through mental health issues, you're not thinking about the people that you're going to hurt. You're only stuck and wallowing in your own pain for the most part, unless you at the point where you said, I'm going to do this to get back at this person. So that's why I try to tell people when we make certain comments, you got to understand, you got to study and understand what mental health issues is about, because it could be your sister. If your sister is sick and she's going through something and they're crying out, of your brother, how you going to help them if you don't understand mental health issues? And you just say, oh, you're just being weak. You can't say that to a person. You have to understand what it is, try to understand what it is that that person is going through. I had my stepbrother's his cousin called him one day on the phone and said that he needed somebody he needed to talk to him. And my cousin was busy. My stepbrother was busy. He said, yo, I'm gonna call you back. I'm gonna call you right back. I'm doing something. But he really didn't want to talk to him at that time because he was too preoccupied in doing what he was doing. But his cousin called him at that time, and he went and shot his girlfriend, left out the apartment, went downstairs in the lobby and shot himself in the head and killed himself. But he called my stepbrother to talk to him first and said he wanted to talk to him, but he wouldn't talk to him. He said that he was busy. So what I'm saying is I'm laying out all this stuff for a reason, because you guys are watching me, and each one of y'all probably can relate to certain stories or certain things that may have happened in your family. It may have happened to a friend, a loved one, somebody in your community that you say, damn, George is laying this out, and I never thought about it like that. And we need to think about it. Because like you said, to Jerry, deep, dark, painful space, a feeling of no way out. Yeah. And you know what's funny? It's like night and day, because where I'm at now, like I'm nowhere near. It's like when my son, my last child was born, November 2nd, 2007, at 7:30 in the evening. When he was born, it's like to me, because right before he was born, my wife was pregnant, like a year right before that, and our baby died. And this was at the second time I tried to commit suicide. And I felt like my son, that second child, was a gift to me from the Most High. Because when my son was born, with all the pain or whatever I was going through, see, that's why I take this stuff seriously. It seemed like it began to dissipate when they brought him in the room and they said, do you want to hold him? And I don't like holding babies when they're that small. I held him and I looked at him and I said, damn, like I had my other children young and I took care of them, but I didn't raise them. They wasn't, I didn't know nothing about raising no kids at the time. No, yeah. Yeah, but see, that's the thing, Stop for Rage. When we begin to talk, you begin to find out that like we all got similar stories, man. Yeah, we find out we all got like our stories, man. You know, and I held my boy. I gave him my name, the same name my dad gave me. I gave him my name. And ever since I put him in his mother and he came out of his mother, I've been there with him, because the other children, I wasn't really able to be there for them like that because I was always in the street. Took care of them financially, but my son, I felt like that was a gift from the Most High. The Most High said, okay, well, you know, I seen all the pain and the things that you went through. Some things were self-inflicted, some things wasn't. Some things was inherited, generational dysfunction from my own parents and within the community that affected me. And what I got married. I was married. I had my son. Then my grandbabies started coming in. I started feeling like I had something to live for. Life was different now. Life was different. So I can do these live streams. To me, is important in doing these live streams, because you guys, we got to really start really paying attention, man. If we come on YouTube and we talk about what the white man has done to us, how our communities are destroyed, I can do videos and show how the federal government created ghettos, and I can talk about all the different bad stuff that the white man has done. There's consequences that come behind that too. that we got to talk about and we got to deal with. So I had no hope for the future, believing things will never get better. Things will never change. You know, and just imagine you in a game and you getting money, but you feel bad about doing it. But you feel like this is the only thing that you're good at, and you never really tried to do nothing else. But you start feeling bad. Like it's that's what I'm saying. Like I'm drawing out different scenarios for you guys, so that when you around your people, you can have more compassion and be able to better deal with your people. These are, you can have, maybe you can pick up the phone and call your sister that you ain't talked to in a year because y'all not speaking. Pick up the phone and call your son that you ain't seen in 2 years because you it's been so long now you don't even know how to talk to him. Pick up the phone and talk to your dad. Call your mama. You got to do these type of things because you never know. Don't wait till it's too late and then you never get a chance to clear up things or maybe be there for the people that was there that maybe you can help some certain things. Let's see. This is okay. This is the last picture of them right here. So he went on to say, Storm for Reeves, that y'all won't let me go to the funeral. Y'all won't let me see her. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go see her myself. And this is what he did. Oh, man, I'll tell you, man, this is what he did. So, you know, we talk about all the things that go on in our communities, and and all the systematic racism, institutional racism, crack in our communities, and all that stuff is true. We know we've dealt with inherited generational racism. We've dealt with it. We know that we inherited this bullshit, but it doesn't negate the fact that it's our responsibility to clean this shit up. We got to constantly, every time something spill on the floor, we got to keep mopping it. We got to clean it up. We know that we're not responsible for drugs, all these drugs coming from South America into our community, destroying our community. We already know it. We know what the government did. We know that we're not responsible for the shit that we seen our grandparents go through. We know this shit already. But we inherited the dysfunction. We inherited this shit. So we got to figure it out. So yeah, when you see 5 and 11-year-olds killing themselves, it's all part of the 360. It's all part of everything and not being dealt with. This is a real sad story, though. It's a real sad story. So I'll go to the one last one before we get out of here. Before we get out of it, we have to deal with the results. Right. The way we went, and yeah, we have to be the ones to deal with the results of it. We have to be the ones to come and clean it up. And we're not these are things that we're not willing to do. And there's a lot of depressed children out here. You'd be surprised. And because like I said, the children, our children are going through a lot. Let me see. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna read this one because I actually covered them all. Let me see. Suicide rates have traditionally been higher. Yeah. I read all of these. Let me unshare the screen. Yeah, I think mental health crises are highly visible amongst kids who come from a 2-parent home, which is shocking. However, I think it could be also tied to trying to please one. Yeah, it's a lot of different dynamics. There's a lot of strong arms. Know how to kill themselves. Well, you'd be surprised what 5 and 11-year-olds know how to do, and what 5 and 11-year-olds are exposed to. If you got a between a 5 and 11-year-old, the purple pill, I suggest you keep an eye on them too. Or if you got 5 and 11-year-old nieces, I suggest you keep an eye on them too. Don't think just because you have the mentality you have that it may escape your family or young loved ones. So don't be arrogant about it, because you'll be surprised. Suicide and this type of behaviors don't have a certain look to it. It comes out of nowhere. I got it. Yeah. It comes out of nowhere. So don't be arrogant to it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna close out. I'm gonna close out, man. I just wanted to just bring this information to you guys where it's important. We have to have these type of conversations. Pay attention to your children, because you don't know. Like we in the age of social media, and our children are exposed to so much, and you can never be too sure. So I know we got people in the chat trolling and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of times our people, that's their way of acknowledging what's going on. But a lot of our people, we don't know how to be cordial to each other or show love without dissing each other. That's just the way that we behave to each other. It's kind of like a nigga walk up to you and like, hey, dickhead. And that's his way of saying what's going on with you. Or fuck y'all niggas. And that's his way. This is the way that in a dysfunction, this is the way we deal with each other. So when you do have people trolling in the chat room, I guarantee you, if you dig into their background, they have these issues that I'm speaking about, but they don't know. But instead of knowing how to get the proper help, they troll. So this is why I'm saying, like, we don't have to really get into that. But just pay attention to your family. Yeah, I'm staying up. I'm good, man. I'm blessed by the best, man. I'm blessed by the best. But I got my grandchildren. I got my babies. I got my wife upstairs. I'm good. But it's one step at a time. And I'm transparent and tell the story, because my story is no different than a lot of people's story. People can relate to what I'm saying because they got family members, and it's important. And I survived through certain things to be here to tell the story. So remember, I love my people more than they hate themselves. And I pray to the universal creator most high that these words is enough to inspire you. These words is enough to make you look at yourself in the mirror and make change. These words is enough to make you look at your children and know you have to make change. I hope that when you came here for information. And when you leave here better than what you was before you came here. You leave here edified. I hope that you share this video everywhere, on Facebook, on Twitter, all the social media mechanisms that they got out there. Share it everywhere. I don't care. Download it, share it. Share it out. Talk to your children. Talk to your mother. Talk to your father. Talk to the people at the job. Have conversations. Have the conversations around the water cooler, at the gym, everywhere about mental health issues. And sometimes just ask people, are they okay? How you doing? Call some of your family members and your friends and just say, hey, how you doing? Tell them you love them. Tell them if you need to talk, I'm here for you. Or if you yourself need help, go get the proper help you need, and stop thinking that you can handle these things on your own. Because if you could, you wouldn't be going through the things that you're going through. Okay? Sometimes life can be overwhelming. Sometimes just the everyday hustle and bustle of life can just be too much sometimes. Sometimes you're carrying too much baggage, and you got to put some of it down, but you don't understand how to put it down. But there's people that's looking at you on the outside that can help you put some of that stuff down. Sometimes you can't get over the pain of your childhood. You got to go get the help. Some of you are children disguised as adults walking around, and you got undiagnosed trauma. You got to go get the help, because you may take that trauma out on your children. And next thing you know, your children is the one committing the suicide based off of the trauma that you put on your child. So go get the help, man. And remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.